Greetings, fellow Kendoka swordsmen. Back again with another exercise that I wanted to introduce to you. Just a reminder that these videos are not instructional videos. I'm not trying to teach you Kendo. This is for people who are studying Kendo, Iaido, and other sword disciplines, and they're trying to continue their training at home. And while they're trying to do that, they're also trying to keep it interesting. And the whole point of this exercise is, for many of you, it might have been one you've done before. Maybe someone has shown it to you, and just to throw something different into your normal training to keep it interesting for you, so that even though we're still stuck at home, we're still considering our training, that it's not getting boring, it's not getting repetition, right? We are still doing the things we need to train all the time, but this one, to add it. So the point of this one is just to make sure that you're using all the right parts of the elements of the cut. Right? And it's a very simple exercise, and then I'll talk about the general idea of what it is you're looking for, but essentially it doesn't require anything. So whether you're in Iaido or Kendo, it's very simple. You just need your practice sword, and then newspaper and tape. Now there are a lot of different variations, so I'm going to show you a couple of different variations. One, I have two sons, so I can have them help me do this exercise. If you've got one person that you're living at home with, a whole, and that person, great. If you're home alone and you have nothing, two chairs and some tape. So that's pretty much it. That's what you need: two chairs, some tape, and newspaper, or two people to hold it for you if you've got two kids like I do, or a spouse, or someone else who's willing to help you with your training. Great. But essentially, you'll notice what it is we're going to do. We're going to be doing some cutting today. All right? You can see I've got, in this case, my sons are trying to be quiet upstairs, so I've got a piece of newspaper taped to each end of a chair. So taped nice and tight. And essentially, what you're going to want to do is just the same thing. Get your local paper. Now, I know that some people are larger papers. For this exercise, depending on your style, you don't want anything much bigger than this. All right? And the reason being how deep your cut is. So when you're thinking about it, for those of us in Kendo, we want to do a nice fence strike. Boom. We want to start here. We want to finish there. Cut straight through. So this is actually the perfect height for like me. I would want to post it if I was standing up. I'd want my people holding it to be holding it at that level, same level as my own head, so that I can penetrate through. All right. If I was on my knees, maybe about this height, so I'd have to go a little bit higher than what I have. I have it set so that I can make it cut perfectly when I'm in seiza, the kneeling position. All right. And again, there can be some variations. One variation is if you wanted to do it for kote, you'd want to use the same length, but instead of it being up here, you'd want it to start just above where you're going to make the kote strap. So if this is where my kamai is, you can see the paper I have is already too low, right? I want it to start, the kote is here, so I want it to start above here and finish through to about here. So you're wanting to cut straight through. So even the kote, when they're short, you want here to here, right? For a men's strike, here to there, straight through. Right? If you're going to do it in EI, then you probably might want to use a larger piece of paper, and you'd want to make a big cut all the way through. So you've got one of the bigger style newspapers. Same thing, except you're making up all the way through cut. Top, all the way through to waist. All right, but for Kendo, we want to start here, finish through here. And that's if we're going for a men's strike, or if we're going for kote, right about here, cut through. All right, those are some different variations we can do, right? Noticing changing the height level to make sure it's in the right spot. if you're still a swordsman, but you're not cutting, let's say you're a fencer and you want to do the same exercise, the same exercise is still applicable, except now, let's say you're advanced, instead of trying to cut through, your job would be to punch through. All right, so you might be wanting to draw different targets and punch through. But again, you're still working on accuracy. Here, we're still working on accuracy. Now, big goal while you're doing this is to try to think about the spine of the paper and cut straight through. The next part, so I want to cut straight through the spine of the paper where it bends, and I'd like to make a perfect cut straight down the middle. I'd not like it to be rocky all over the place. Right? Next part is the proper elements of your cut. So that's one of them. The other one is using your hana, using your core muscles to help you cut straight through. Right? And again, I've already mentioned this for Iaido, you probably want to use your Bokuto, but for Kendo, to really check this exercise for us, Kendoka, is that we do want to use our Shinai because we want to see how are we cutting? Are we engaging that part as we cut, or is it just coming from the shoulders? Right? You'll notice the difference from when you're cutting and you've engaged that core versus if you're just using your shoulders. All right? Now, the other part to this too is that you cannot get lucky if you have people holding it or if you have it in the chairs and it's not tight. Then when you cut it, one end could slip. All right? Or one end could come off. Right? Sometimes you could still have a really perfect cut and it could be the way that you attached it, but sometimes looking at how it happens is also a good indication of whether or not you got a good cut. So I'm going to try one right now. I've been doing one set for the last couple of days with my kids holding it up, and I'm just going to show you, I get lucky with this one, what we're looking for in terms of the elements of our cuts, but you can obviously see the setup takes moments. You take a piece of paper out, put it across, tape up the four edges, and you're done. So let's see how we can use it. First check distance, right there. And unfortunately, we didn't get a good one. How do we know? Because it broke off at the two edges here, and it got another one quickly. Shot. But again, sometimes it's about if you got a good cut, sometimes it's not necessarily about practicing, but also with the paper ripping out. So, set up. Make sure as you're taking it, you're trying to keep the right height. Second part. There. Give it another shot. And for the sake of this video, I will probably edit one out. One more shot. Again, we're simply looking. Again, that's fine. The elements. Okay. Make sure you're consistent in your height. Line yourself up properly. And there we go. You can see most of it's right down the spine. I got a good cut on that third one, but again, there's different aspects of what we're doing here. The main goal again for us is to try to keep ourselves making sure that we're cutting straight down. Try to make sure that we engage that core and really push from the hara and cut. Right? And again, whether we're doing this as kendo, going here to here straight through, or we're doing for kendo, right, kote, we could also do the same drill small, right, just a small. Use your wrist motion, but again, engaging it. Or for EI, a big cut all the way through. And again, hopefully you've seen this activity before and you can see it's relatively easy to set up. You can do it multiple times. If you have, like I said, if you have partners who hold it, you can move much faster because the setup is just you grab it at each of the four ends, they hold, boom, next person sets up the next one, and you can continue going through and just using a little bit of paper to make sure that you are getting the cuts right. So hopefully that's a helpful exercise that, again, you can continue to practice. Throw that into the mix of different activities that you are doing to keep your training going well. Thank you.